So how do you become an aesthetic nurse? Do you need experience? Can you do it as a new grad? How do you stand out from the other applicants who are applying to the same job? And most importantly, how do you create the perfect resume that'll present you as an asset to the med spa to increase the chances of you landing your dream job? We're gonna be unpacking things that you can start doing now and a step-by-step process of how you can create the perfect resume so that you can get away from the bedside and start your journey as an aesthetic nurse. I'm Kieara. I'm a travel nurse and ex-aesthetic nurse who was able to land my dream aesthetic jobs at one of the most reputable and biggest med spas in my city with absolutely no aesthetic experience. Welcome to my channel where we talk everything nursing, beauty, lifestyle, and content creation. Let's just get right into it. In my last video, we already unpacked what exactly an aesthetic nurse is and what it kind of looks like being an aesthetic nurse. So if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend that you go check it out. This is going to fill you in and give you a lot more information that's going to make it a little easier for you to understand what we're going to talk about today. So let's get into some of the most popular questions, which is one, do you need experience and can you do it as a new grad? You actually do not need any aesthetic experience in order to become an aesthetic nurse. A lot of med spas will hire you whether or not you have experience and will be willing to train you on the spot. Regardless of whether or not you have experience, you're probably going to receive some type of training to get you acclimated to their systems, their machines, because every med spa has their own way of doing things and they also have their own technology. So you do not necessarily need any experience. I have also seen tons of new grads getting hired as aesthetic nurses. And I think one of the main reasons why a lot of aesthetic facilities like to do this is because they know that one, this is an area that a lot of nurses want to get into. And because you're a new nurse who has minimal experience, they are likely to keep you there for a longer period of time versus another nurse who maybe has a lot more experience and may have tons more options, or who may find it a little easier to get hired at other med spas. So now, what are some of the things that you can do now to increase your chances of getting hired at a med spa? I think the easiest answer to this is doing some courses. You've probably heard of this before. A lot of aesthetic nurses will take some money and invest it into different types of courses that they can do to get different certifications that they can add to their resume, and that helps them stand out. Now, there are tons of different certifications that you can do, some on the more affordable end and some on the more expensive side. And I'm gonna be doing a full video on different certifications that you can get just to get your foot in the door and start building up your resume. But if you're interested in knowing the specific course that I did an introduction to neuromodulator and filler course. This was a 2-day course. However, I took the 1-day option because I had to work the next day. Now, there are tons of different options that you can do. There are online options, in-person options. And if you're in the USA, Palette Resources is a great resource that you can use. They have tons of workshops, tons of virtual workshops, virtual certifications, in-person certifications, and also cadaver trainings that you can do. But if you're in Canada, like me, I did my training through the Derma Institute, and most of their trainings are in person. I know they do have some online options, but they offer courses all throughout Canada. So I'm pretty sure that no matter where you are in Canada, you will be able to reach them. And even if they don't do it in your specific city, you may have to travel out maybe an hour or two to the next nearest city to do your course. Now let's get into the most important part here, which is the resume. The resume is the first thing that they're gonna see before they even get to meet you in person. So you wanna make sure that you're putting a lot of effort into this. So let's break down how to create the perfect resume. So at the top, you'll have a header with your name, your title, maybe a little bit about yourself, as well as your social media. And underneath that, you'll put your skills section. This is where you're gonna highlight some of the skills that you have that can benefit the med spa. So for example, if a med spa offers PRP or PRF services, one of the main things that you need to be able to do is phlebotomy. So if you've done a lot of phlebotomy, you wanna make sure that you're highlighting that. If you're working at a med spa that does IV infusion, and maybe you've worked in the ER or in the ICU, and you could put an IV in with your eyes closed, you wanna highlight that you have IV therapy skills. If you've gone ahead and done a Botox and filler training the way I have, then you wanna highlight that as well. You're not gonna put the certification name, but you're gonna put the individual skills that you learned in that class. So if you've done PRP, you would put PRP and PRF. You put neuromodulators. If there was a specific type of neuromodulator, for example, Dysport or Xywav or Botox, you could highlight the specific one that you were trained with. And if you've done filler, maybe Kiss or Juvederm, you could put that in there as well. If you practice in any particular parts of the face, so maybe chin, maybe nose or lips, highlight those individual things as well. By the way, I will be coming up with a resume template as well as the email that I sent to every single med spa that I applied to. The resume template might not be ready yet. Make sure to check the description to see if it's there, because it might be by the time I post this video. The email template will definitely be there, and you'll be able to purchase that for a few dollars if you're interested. All right, so the first thing I want you to keep in mind when it comes to creating a resume for aesthetics versus just any other nursing job is that aesthetics is all about the aesthetics. And so when you're applying to a regular hospital job, you may not want to put your picture on that resume, but for aesthetics, I highly recommend that you put a picture. Make sure that this is a professional looking picture. It doesn't have to be taken professionally, but make sure you have a blazer, have your hair nicely done, your makeup done, and add a picture in your resume. Again, this is aesthetics. You don't have to be a bombshell model, but you want to show that you're professional. You want to show a smile, show your friendliness, and this is definitely something that's going to help you stand out. You're then going to have a skills section. And like I said, it is not necessary for you to have any Botox or filler certification, but I highly recommend that you do invest the money, because this is definitely going to make you stand out. Even if you've never worked in an aesthetic clinic, put in a few of the jobs that you've worked at, maybe 3 or 4, but make sure that the jobs that you're putting are the jobs where you used a lot of the skills that you would typically be using at a med spa. So for example, I worked at a phlebotomy clinic. That is definitely something that I wanted to highlight, because phlebotomy, labs, tests, those are things that are done a lot in aesthetics. Before any surgeries are done, there are blood tests that are done, pregnancy tests that are done. And again, because I knew my med spa offered PRP and PRF services, phlebotomy was perfect because I knew I needed that for that as well. Just keep in mind some of the main services that most med spas offer, and think about the skills that you have acquired during your nursing journey that align with those services, and think about the jobs where you have done the most of those skills and highlight those jobs particularly. Now, the next thing that you're going to be wanting to add in your resume, and this is very different from, applying at hospitals, like I said before, aesthetics is all about the aesthetics. It's about showing that you're good at marketing, or that you're willing to market or have the skills to market. So you will want to share your social media platforms on there. I personally already had social media platforms where I was showing beauty tips. I had an Instagram account that was somewhat aesthetic. I'm not saying that this is necessary, but if you are already posting on social media, this is going to help you a lot. Why? Let me explain. When you're getting hired as an aesthetic nurse, yes, it is true that you may benefit from just having the doctors send over the patients that they've already acquired to you. But remember, in the beginning of the video, I said that the important thing that you want to do in your resume is present yourself as an asset to the med spa. So showing that you're already in tune with social media, if you are, or showing that you're willing or that you have the skill, is definitely going to make you stand out, because this is going to signal to that med spa that you have what it takes to market the med spa, market your services, and bring in more clients. Before you even write the email, you want to do a little bit of research and make sure that you're personalizing your emails. You do not want to be copy pasting your emails. Yes, the bulk of the email can be the same, but you want to make sure that you're highlighting certain things that are going to show the med spa that you've actually done research on them. So some of the main things that you want to look at is some of their work, the specific services that they offer. This is where you highlight some of the things that stood out to you pertaining to the med spa. So for example, I see that you have been voted best med spa in the city for the past 5 years. I love that you guys value excellence. I would love to be an addition to your team and help you continue providing excellent care to your patients. Something like that. Next, you're gonna go into your actual experience. So you're gonna say the main areas that you've worked at are ER, ICU, long-term care, whatever, and some of the skills that you've acquired. So IV, phlebotomy, injections. And remember, you wanna make sure that you're highlighting the skills that are going to be most beneficial to the med spa based on the services that they offer. And then just like any other job, you're gonna put where you were educated, the degrees or the diplomas that you've acquired, if you've gotten any certifications at all. It doesn't really matter if they're specifically pertaining to aesthetics. If you have any continuing education certificates, you want to make sure that you highlight those as well. And at the bottom, if you speak any languages, if you are bilingual or speak multiple languages, highlight that as well. And then you're going to go ahead and let them know that you've attached a resume down below. I like saying, well, you could call me on any day between this time and this time, and I'll be happy to talk. And I attached the resume. My next videos that I'm thinking about doing are about the interview, how to ace your interview and what to expect on your aesthetics interview, as well as full detailed course ideas and different institutions that you can can look into if you're in the US or Canada. I really hope this was helpful. If it was, go ahead and let me know down below. Leave a like and share this with any aspiring aesthetic nurse that you know. My last Instagram got hacked, so I would really appreciate it if you guys follow me on my brand new Instagram where I share beauty tips, content creation tips. I know you guys are already into beauty, so follow me on there. And on my nursing TikTok where I talk everything aesthetic nursing and travel nursing. Don't forget to subscribe and turn your notification bells on so you can be notified when I post my future content. I'll link my last video up here so that you guys can go watch my last cosmetic nursing video. I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye.